Good morning. Welcome to Chasing Dreams, Will and Herbie's journey to the Masters. I probably should explain what this dream is all about. So if you watch the first installment, you know that I lost 140 pounds. I have to tell you, when I'm the happiest in my life is when the people I love and I are supported well, and when I am on the back of a horse. And right now in my life, I have set probably an impossible dream because I'm 60 years old and I would like to jump in the Masters division in the Grand Prix Arena at Wellington International, a part of the United States Hunter Jumper Association Zone 4 team. I don't even know exactly how to get there yet. I don't even know exactly how much this is gonna cost. Oh, it's gonna cost a penny. Okay, a lot of pennies, I can tell you. It's freaking both my husband and I out. And that's kind of why, you just can't run out and do things. One thing, because it's expensive, and the other thing is because you need to have the skill to do it. And right now, I don't have the skill to do it. So that's what I'm trying to do right now. So for the last year, I have been engaged in training 3 days a week with a trainer at Spitfire Farms in Coconut Creek out by the Tradewinds equestrian arenas. We are about, here where I live, I'm about 54 minutes south of Wellington. I think our barn is about 44 minutes south of Wellington International. Wellington International is the center of the universe when it comes to Grand Prix show jumping from January 1st to April, the second week of April. I think it's all done by then, right? And it is exciting here. You get to jump with some really big Olympians George Kukuk from Germany, Ben Marr from, I think Ben Marr's from Ireland, I could be wrong. McLean Ward from the United States, and that Australian United States eventer Boyd Martin, Cedric Triolet, the German riding instructor. Everybody is in Florida from Ocala to Wellington, but the center of the universe of show jumping is just an hour north of my house, right? So that's kind of exciting, right? And so that's the goal. So the United States Hunter Jumper Association is part of the United States Equestrian Federation, USEF, I think, United States Equestrian Federation. And so those two governing bodies are the individuals that regulate the sport and the horses of show jumping, right? And and when I say show jumping is a lot more regulated than barrel racing is, it's because it is, and in a good way. Anybody who works with horses knows that putting horse welfare first is important. And I haven't always understood that, right? And my trainer and the barn that I'm at and my love for horses has been teaching me such a much better, more elevated type of horsemanship than I've ever experienced before. So I have to put that out there. And I am really enjoying myself as a rider at this barn. And so that's the goal, right? And now, how did I get here from losing that 140 pounds? Well, I didn't lose the weight to ride horses. I mean, I wish that was the story, but I had a heart attack in 2015. And after I had the heart attack, that's when I gained the bulk of the weight. I was always kind of a chunky dude, a chunky rider, in that 180 to 205 range, but man, I ballooned up to 278 pounds. Man, I got pretty large. And there may have been a 302 on the scale. right after surgery, and so I chalked that up to fluid retention right after surgery. So that's part of that whole 140-pound weight loss, though. That's where it started at. Like right after surgery, I was really swollen. And I started walking every day from September 2022, I think it was, when I had the surgery. It might have been 2021. I have to look back, but I started walking every single day, and or swimming, because I was on a low carb diet. I was keeping everything recorded in my MyFitnessPal and on my Apple Watch, right? Like it goes nowhere without me. And after surgery, I still gained like another 50 pounds during that 9 months. So I walked into my doctor's office and I said, like, I think I need a bariatric intervention. I think I need to go in for stomach surgery because I'm like not even 60 years old, and I like to watch the rest of my kids' lives, and I'm enjoying, like my husband and I are building a house with a lap pool. I swim a mile a day, even fat. I walk 3 to 5 miles a day, and I have gained, and I'm on a low carb diet, and I have gained 50 pounds since surgery. And he's like, well, let's run some labs on you, right? Like, my labs back, and my labs are atrocious, man. I look like I'm gonna be dead, right? I already had congestive heart failure. I'd already had a heart attack. My A1C in the times that they first time measured it and the time when that was 5.9 and 6.2. So it's like borderline diabetic, okay, just pretty much diabetic, right? And so they started me on, my testosterone was like down in the low 200s, which is not good. So there was a lot of things going wrong with me. I had COPD, sleep apnea, pre-diabetic, congestive heart failure, high blood pressure, clogged arteries. Like, yeah, I was on more medications than you could possibly imagine, right? I just kept getting bigger. I was taking 100 milligrams a day of furosemide. And after I had my heart attack, the advice that I got from the healthcare community was that I needed to go on a Mediterranean low sodium diet. And listen, I loved my cardiology team up there in Minnesota. They were on the right track, but really, if you have heart issues, and a lot of you say, well, I'm gonna go and look at, if you have heart issues, stop fooling around with your life. Give yourself 4 months as a vegan, eating no sugar, no processed food. Eat food that's natural the way it's supposed to be. And it's uncomfortable at first because it's like, well, unless you're like eating really good tasting fruit, which is what I do. And you eat like, I mean, I eat a lot of fresh produce, right? Like it's uncomfortable to get used to at first because you just really want to be satiated by fat and sugar, processed foods. You just want to be lulled into a taquito heaven. I get that. I got lulled into that heaven for a really long time. So I went to my doctor and I was like, I gotta do something about this. He comes back and he's like, let's put you on a GLP-1 and let's put you on testosterone. So I said, okay, let's do those things. Let's put me on a GLP-1, let's put me on testosterone. And then I started losing weight. Like Bill and I had been world travelers. I'd already opened my business as a private practice psychotherapist. I had been a consulting social worker for hospitals and nursing homes and hospice for like almost a decade before that. Like things have been going well in our lives, right? Like, and here comes Bill and the family now. So we're gonna have to say hello. Hey, Bill. Oh, he's coming down. I hear the dog coming. Bendy's coming. Hello. Can you pour me a cup of coffee when you walk by there, Dad? I mean, I could get it myself, but I got your guys' captive attention. You don't have to. I can get my own coffee. He's taking big. Oh, shoot, my God. I think the house keys are right upstairs on top of, and I think I took them out of my pocket and I said, here they are, and I set them there last night. he gets so frustrated because there's two things that I just leave all over the place. One is the house keys, and the other, ADHD. You're like, yeah, therapist with ADHD. Sorry, you caught me out on it. So where were we at before Bill came down? Like, I committed that I was gonna do this, so I'm doing this, and I'm posting this, and I'm not editing this. So this is like chapter 2. It's a vlog, so you get it the way it is. I'm even in my robe. I haven't even taken my shower. I've got my coffee over there, like, waiting for me. So where I was at was the doctor put me on these medications, and I'd already started walking, and then I had kind of a life crisis, and I went up to my girlfriend's house in Ocala, Florida, who bought my old barrel racing business, Pac West Barrel Racing, and she interestingly enough, she put me on a couple of horses. I took her daughter's horse, Brooklyn's horse, out there, and I ran it around the barrels. She's like, you can still ride, Will. You can do this if you wanted. And that was in June. The sun's getting a little intense this direction. We'll move over here. So that was in June, right? Like, that was in June of, this is 2025, 2023. That was in June of 2023. At that point, I'd lost about 80 pounds, right? Like, I was still kind of a thick dude, right? And Bill and I had a trip planned. We went a trip around I think we did 3 weeks in Europe with like 9 days on the Baltic Sea. We flew into Germany, and then we flew into Oslo, and then we took, I think, a plane to Germany, and then a train back to Sweden through Copenhagen. It was like this long thing, and 9 cities on the Baltic Sea in like 11 days. It was really fun. We come home from that and get lost in my daughter's wedding. We go to my daughter's wedding, we come back, and then we're off to London. And so months are going by, and I'm getting ready to go to London, and I'm like, I have not made any moves on getting a horse. I'm gonna get myself a horse. So, I call Eola Cook at Spitfire Farms when I had gotten back from my girlfriend's house. And I said, Eola, and she goes, I'm trying to think of how this conversation. I called a bunch of stables that were within 20 minutes of my house. There's like 4 or 5, right? There's not very many in South Florida. And one of the people that I talked to was Eola Cook at Spitfire Farms, trying to recreate all this in my mind, right? Like, and Eola, she seemed real nice on the phone, and I could be a handful. I'm queer, I have ADHD, I'm highly anxious, and very suspicious, and like we could go all over and all that. And she seemed real nice, and I was like, too bad I'm not a jumper and I'm gonna be a barrel racer, right? Like, and so that was when I had first got home in the summer, of 2023. So then by the time fall rolls around, I still don't have a horse. I haven't done anything. I'm getting ready to go to London in about 2 weeks. So what do? I call Eola up and I said, can I take a riding lesson? And she hooks me up with January, her competitively. Listen, I am all up in this horse's mouth that she put me on, this horse, Loki. And Loki can move so easy. I had no idea like how to ride an English horse compared to, like, I'm trying to get a horse to go forward, kick, put your arms forward, like sloppy horsemanship. Hadn't ridden in 14 years, right? Like I couldn't even move a horse laterally. Couldn't get that horse Loki to move off my leg. And I used to ride top professional level 1D barrel racing horse, and I couldn't get little old Loki to move off my leg. Well, the next day they put me on Ivy. Ivy was a dream. She was a thoroughbred. She could really move. Unfortunately, Ivy had kissing spine, and she is now retired. I think it's in Kentucky. Kansas or Kentucky, one of the 2 K states. I always get them mixed up, right? Like, it's just lots of fields of hay, I understand. And so it's a racehorse barn. And so then January and I continued every 3 times a week on leased horses. And I was struggling, and I was like, I really just need my own horse to work all this stuff out. And in that time when I said I need my own horse to work this stuff out, the dream of going to Wellington, like I started going to Wellington every Saturday night with all my friends at the barn, and it's all fancy and fun and music and bright lights. Like, look, it's in the background, right? Like, and I loved, the thing about jumping is men and women compete against each other. Heck, I'm competing against 9-year-olds and taking ribbons from 10-year-olds, 11-year-olds, and 12 because I'm only jumping like 0.7 in the competition arena. I'm hoping January lets me level up to like 0.8. I'm still like, I get a little too forward sometimes, but that's okay. I'm gonna develop the strength necessary to hold myself back, right? Like to stay back behind the vertical and to really like get into my seat and keep it pretty independent. It takes time. So I started going to the Grand Prix with my friends at the barn, and I started like, oh, this is fun. I could never do that. I could never jump in there. And then my trainer, January McGee, introduced me to her sister, Jennifer, and Jennifer said, well, there's a master's class for over 50. Well, I'm 60. And I thought, well, yeah, how high do you have to? She goes, 1.10 meters, like around 4 feet. I think I could do that. And that's how the dream was born, right? So right now, I just want to jump in the Masters division at Wellington International in 2026. That's what I want to do. And I want to get good at riding because it's such a powerful connection with Herbie. That'll be tomorrow's story. I'll tell you all about buying Herbie. So today was my story. Bill's back home now. We've been going on here for a minute. So I'm gonna drink my coffee. I'm gonna do my morning exercises. I'm gonna run out to my horse. I've got to finish doing some paneling for Florida Blue today. I have to update some website stuff. I'm gonna follow up on some new clients that are coming on board, trying to balance this. I have a really perfect life though, because I do all of my equestrian stuff in the morning. I wake up, I either swim or I walk, and I do my hip exercises and get myself good and strong and flexible for my horse. And then it's horses 5-6 days a week until 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And from there on, I see 4 or 5 clients a night, starting around 2 or 3 Eastern time, 4 days a week. I like my weekends and my mornings for myself. I'm 60. I'm never going to be able to retire. I'm never going to have enough money. So I have to pay to play. My husband has to pay to play. Don't we, honey?
I have to pay, play, stay, and bring the hay.
Just pay to play, stay, and bring the hay. We all service Herbie, don't we? Yes. Thank you for this morning. I'm going to drink my coffee. Bye, guys.